So, we of course, I have of course a bit of a busy weekend on YouTube. I'm not sitting outside. I'm still doing stuff on the channel. Other than that, we're gonna go over who I think is like one of the most overrated, obnoxious, little BS stars on WWE. I'm talking about Mustafa Ali. I think he is already banned over his expiration date. Because I, of course, had many complaints over when Apollo Crews won the United States title and why he's still on television. He does the same matches. He always has the same happy to be there character. Lack of charisma. They try to do something with him involving the Hurt Business, where at least they're trying to do primitive focus, and they were trying to do different feuds with him. So they were going to finally make him, and this was before the Hurt Business was ever that created until later the year 2020. So I knew back then at least I had more stock on Apollo Crews because at least he looked like a star. And he looked like a big Nigerian buff athletic dude with a good look. The guy looks good. He looks like an above average guy. He looks like a nice guy to get along with. And now look at Apollo Crews now. I call him the most generic Negro there is. Now he's coming around with his own Nigerian gimmick, topical heel stuff. He's actually making a character where he actually carry himself more important than the rest. And he's going to be feuding with Big E Langston. So for the IC title. So that's actually going to be more important. Mustafa Ali has like this rip-off gear of Seth Rollins back at Mania 31 when he cashed in for the WWE title. He lacks any semblance of talking ability, yet they give him the mic the most. They give him a faction that there was no reason to give him a faction over with a bunch of NXT mid-carders. He has no charisma. He's a smiling SJW midget that has no semblance to actually carry himself over to make a good story in the ring. But they get more talking ability on freaking Twitter. There's like no reason. I don't remember any of his matches other than the other guys make look better than him. He'll do the 450 splash, but I remember him getting RKO'd, bicycle kneed a bunch of times. He has no identifiable moveset. Like, I don't remember a good moveset from freaking Mustafa Ali that makes him more unique than guys like Murphy. Freaking Aleister Black of all people. Apollo, at least he looks different because he's a buff guy doing like 450 splashes, like stuff you don't see from a natural heavyweight like Apollo Crews. And he can still gorilla press guys like above his own weight class. So at least Apollo Crews has something like, he looks like a wrestler at least. I don't understand anything over Apollo Crews. He's 205 Live midget, and yet they give him the most stock. I don't know why. He has the worst faction in the WWE. The worst faction. Spirit Squad, the Core, Nexus, the Club, Undisputed Era. I think Undisputed Era sucks. They're like the greatest faction in the developmental circuit for WWE. It's goddamn terrible. They had something going for them, like when they came with the chainsaw on SmackDown. Then nothing else after that. They came around, just invading Raw and SmackDown. It was okay, we're actually gonna get an interesting storyline. Then that flew over when the draft came. They kept losing over the Hurt Business. Then they kept just squashing over lower to mid carders after they consistently lost to Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, and Cedric Alexander. The only person who actually had to take some vulnerable losses because he's more suitable as a talker than a competent wrestler. I understand that now because at least MVP's like a primitive ambassador for the Hurt Business. So it makes sense why he's going to lose more than Shelton Benjamin or Cedric Alexander and primarily Bobby Lashley. And these guys carry themselves. They have a good talker. They have two good athletes, and like one of the best like looking star main eventer guys that are probably going to be in WrestleMania. That's a faction I can get behind. The Hurt Business is the best thing going on WWE. If anybody, even though WWE has declined in primarily overall a lot of stuff over the plausibility of actually becoming mainstream again, at least it feels like, okay, there's a reason why I want to watch this show. Like, there's Elias that looks like a star. He actually makes successful music. He can actually play the guitar. He can actually conduct even generic heat and actually can talk. He has at least a conductive charisma that makes him sing a freaking his own name with Jets song, New York Jets song at WrestleMania. The whole crowd loved it. He literally played himself. That's stuff like that gets you over. And Mustafa Ali doesn't have that. I'm trying to like remember a good match other than like by other top guys. He loses to, and most of the matches he has, he loses them anyway. Like I don't care that he just squashes over Xavier Woods over and Ricochet over the last few weeks. Those are not noticeable wins that you won over your resume. Oh, I beat Ricochet. Tell me a notable win Mustafa Ali had other than, oh, he won. He had that amazing match back at the Super Show or the Saudi events, or that one kickoff event back at Mania 34 when he wrestled Cedric for the Cruiserweight title. Like, they're just forgettable, non-acclaiming match. Like, whenever you think of, like, guys that, okay, I don't know much about these guys, I can give you a match. And it's like, oh, I want to see more, or a promo. Like, that's going to make you watch the guy, especially over the casual viewer. You need, like, a clip. You need a clip of what they're saying, what they're doing, and how they behave, and that's going to make you spike up and watch what else they can do. Like, if anybody wants to see Ric Flair, they never heard of him before, if you were under a rock for some apparent reason, I don't know, I can tell you a promo. This guy dresses expensively, extravagant, talks a whole lot of trash, looks good, extravagant, and he holds a lot of belts. The guy looks like a star, and many people want to be like that. Steve Austin doesn't be around authority, drinks a lot of alcohol, acts like a common dude, takes no BS from even any authority figure or anybody on the roster, not afraid of anybody, kicks ass whenever he wants. That's what people are going to watch. And Mustafa Ali, he just does flips, kicks. He has Seth Rollins' arsenal with no charisma. This is 7-Eleven Seth Rollins. Sorry if that sounds racial, because I totally intended it to. He is. I'm trying my best. At least you can say much about Strowman. At least there was a boom period where he was a bit popular, and then he came around from trying to take up the top guy in the company out of Roman Reigns to getting green slimed and like Nickelodeon slime and prank feuds for the Universal title against John Morrison and The Miz. The Miz, like garbage. I'm trying my best to like understand like what WWE's costing is, and thanks is nearly over spring cleaning. Mustafa Ali's gonna get released with the rest of the Retribution jobbers that he kept on the freaking payroll. I swear to God, like the only definable guy that actually has a decent look and can like improve in the ring, I guess, is Mace. Mia Yim's a generic mid-carder with no character. No one cares about whoever in the hell Slapjack is. I know he's Shane Thorne. And Dominic Dijakovic, all I know is he's like 7 feet. He's like over 6'5". He does flips and kicks with no semblance of a character, no average penetration of selling, and he just has no character. No one's gonna get behind that, especially if he can't decently talk or look like he can kick ass. At least with Keith Lee, he can do all that stuff. He looks like he can kick ass, and he has the best moves. But he's unsafe. He always botches most of his moves, and he's going to get somebody hurt because he's heavy, consistently doing weekly aerial assault moves that's gonna get him hurt and possibly make sure he doesn't walk next time he does Tope Suicida on a Raw match. Like, there's stuff like that that's gonna not put you on Raw that much. And sometimes that's gonna be your wrestling. 450 splashes. All I see is double stomps. All he does is kicks. Sometimes he'll turn into a DDT. It's like generic 205 Live garbage. But the thing is, he talks. He's gonna talk like this when he gets angry. And Kofi, you ruined my mid-card jobber road to WrestleMania. Like, oh God, it's so bad. It's just not and he just doesn't feel that believable overly as somebody. Hell, I'll give an example. Kevin Owens. People can say what I make fun of Kevin Owens, but at least I can be like whenever he's over in a promo, and he can do this. He can make himself a believable talker. He can make himself a believable talker. And personal feuds, he actually sounds believable. He knows how to center his tone of voice actually when it feels like he's supposed to scream. He can be entertaining at times, and there's times where he can actually sound menacing, like stuff when he did when he was in ROH. I don't like bringing that up sometimes because it makes me feel like a smart. But actually, I watched some of his stuff, and some of his stuff, he actually felt like, okay, this guy's gonna kick ass. I don't feel that much about him because he's a babyface, and he's just not that believable overly as a babyface. Because I'm more used to him being a heel, and that's, I think, what he should stick with. Because no one's going to be like, oh, this fat, weird, neckbeard guy that consistently loses is obviously going to be, like, a believable guy to get behind. That's just my opinion. But just even, like, the indie guys that people rag on over the WWE that are just not improving that much of the product are doing way better than whatever Mustafa Ali's doing. Do I feel like he can improve? Yes. There's late bloomers, like a Roman Reigns. Now he came from being like, oh, he's not the top guy. He's finally getting overly as a heel, getting praised around over his promos, looking like a star, and doing like 20-minute promos over in the show. And I swear he won't even get booed if there was a live crowd. Apollo Crews is coming from being a like generic mid-carder to now having a gimmick, a character, and a believable semblance of why he's turning heel. Mustafa Ali's just this weirdo NXT faction ripoff sanity entrance, bland core relevance jobber. He's just awful. Retribution's awful. I hope he gets fired, or at least tries to go back on NXT or somewhere over in the mid-card where he can at least improve on his character, because he's not a compelling mic worker, he's not a compelling wrestler, and he's just not that compelling in general as a person. I just don't feel like he will succeed like anybody else that I complained about over if it's Braun Strowman, Shinsuke Nakamura, Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, and these are just my opinions. Hopefully you stick by that. I just feel like Mustafa Ali sucks. Thanks for watching this video. That's it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. Got a lot of more stuff that might surprise you. SmackDown review coming soon, and other stuff coming into the channel. Thanks for watching.